The cold streets of Athian Prime, the sky over Athian Prime was dark. Cold rain fell hard against the streets, turning dirt into gray mud. People walked fast, keeping their heads down. Nobody looked around, nobody cared. The city was too busy. Too loud and too broken. Jalen moved quickly through the alley, his long coat soaked with rain. He had just finished a long shift in the repair bay. His hands were covered in oil and cuts. He didn't care about the pain. He just wanted to get home, eat and sleep. But something made him stop, a soft sound. Like crying, he turned his head toward a pile of old metal crates and torn plastic sheets. The sound came again, a weak cough. Almost silent, almost lost in the wind. Jalen hesitated. People often warned about sick aliens hiding in the trash. Some were thieves, some were diseased. Some were just strange. But that sound so soft, so broken, it felt different. He stepped closer. Under the broken sheet, something moved. He reached out and pulled it away slowly. What he saw shocked him. A girl, young, maybe 20. Her skin was a pale glowing lavender, like moonlight. Her hair was silver and messy, soaked with rain. Her body was thin, too thin. She was wearing only a torn cloth over her shoulders, barely covering her. Her legs had bruises. Her feet were bleeding. She tried to crawl back when she saw him. Her eyes were full of fear. Big, bright, and shining like stars. "No. Don't," she whispered in a broken voice. "I'm not going to hurt you," Yalen said quietly, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. I heard you. Are you okay?" She didn't answer. She looked away, shaking. Her arms wrapped tightly around herself. He noticed her lips were turning blue. "They'll freeze out here," he said. "Do you have a place to stay?" Still. No answer, just silence and shivering. Jalen sighed. He looked around. No one was watching. The alley was empty. "I don't know who you are, but I can't leave you here to die." He took off his coat and carefully wrapped it around her. She didn't resist. She was too weak. Lifting her into his arms, he felt how light she was. Like carrying feathers. As he walked back to his small apartment, she didn't speak. She just clung to his coat, eyes wide open, watching everything around them. Jalen entered the building quickly, keeping his head down. Bringing an alien girl into a human residence was not legal without papers. If someone reported him, he could be fined or worse, but he couldn't leave her in the rain. Inside, he laid her gently on the couch. She looked around like a lost animal, unsure if this was another trap. "It's okay," he said. "You're safe here. Just rest." She sat still, shivering. Jalen brought her a blanket, then stepped into the kitchen to warm some soup. He didn't know if her kind ate human food, but it was all he had. When he returned, he saw her eyes slowly close. She had passed out, exhausted. He noticed strange marks on her shoulder, just under her wet hair, symbols glowing faintly in blue light. Alien writing. He touched one gently, and it flickered brighter for a second before fading. Yalen stepped back. What the hell? He had never seen that kind of mark before. He snapped a quick photo with his old wristpad, just in case. Then he sat nearby, watching her breathe. She looked peaceful now. But he could still see the pain in her face, even in sleep. Who was she? Why was she thrown away like trash? And what did those marks mean? As the rain tapped softly on the window, Yalen felt something strange in his chest. A feeling he hadn't felt in a long time. He wanted to protect her. Not because she was beautiful, not because she was alien, but because no one else had. He whispered to himself, "What did I just get myself into?" Outside, across the street, a small flying drone hovered quietly in the dark. Watching. Recording. And waiting. She opened her eyes with a sudden breath, like she had just escaped drowning. The room was dark, warm, and smelled of metal and cleaning solution. She blinked fast, unsure if she was still alive. The ceiling above her was cracked, and the light flickered in the corner. Where was she? Her heart pounded as she sat up quickly, gasping. The blanket slipped from her shoulders, and her eyes darted around, searching for danger. Her fingers reached for a weapon, but she had none. She had nothing. Footsteps. She froze. Jalen walked in, holding a steaming cup of soup. He saw her awake and gave a small smile. "You're up," he said softly. Careful not to move too fast. The girl didn't answer. Her eyes locked onto him like a trapped animal. Her arms pulled the blanket close, hiding her skin. Ian raised his hand slowly, showing the cup. "Food," he said. "Not poisoned. Just hot soup. You look like you needed it." She didn't understand all his words, but she caught some food. Not poisoned, and stared at the cup in his hand. He placed it gently on the table and stepped back. She waited. And then, slowly, carefully, she reached forward and took the cup. The soup burned her tongue, but she didn't care. It was food. Real food. Warm. Her hands shook as she brought the cup to her lips again, and again until it was gone. Jalen watched quietly. He didn't ask questions. Not yet. After a long silence, she looked at him. "You, who?" she asked in broken speech. He smiled. "Yalen." He tapped his chest. "Human, Yalen." She nodded slowly, trying to repeat. "Len. Close." "Enough." Ian pointed at her. "You?" The girl looked down, unsure. Then she whispered, "Alira." He nodded. "Alira. That's a nice name." She didn't know what nice meant, but she didn't feel threatened. "Not now." Ian stood and walked to a cabinet. He returned with a small towel and placed it beside her. Her hair was still wet, dripping onto the couch. "Dry," he said, pointing. She touched the towel, then looked up at him again. Her lips moved slowly. "You not hurt me?" Yalen shook his head. "Never." Alira stared for a moment, then looked away, pressing the towel to her face. For the first time, she felt a little safe, but only a little. The marks on her back were starting to itch. The ancient tattoos had burned during the rain, activated by something. Maybe when Yalen touched her. She didn't tell him that. She could single quotes. If he knew what she truly was, he might throw her back into the street. Jalen walked over to his workbench. He needed to think. He still had the image of her glowing marks stored in his wristpad. Curiosity burned in his head. He called his friend Eric, a retired linguist who used to work on alien codes. The screen blinked to life. "Yalen, it's late." "Yeah, I know. I need your help." He sent the photo. Eric studied it, eyes narrowing. "Where did you find this? Just tell me what it means." Eric frowned. "This is old bloodline. Script from the House of Velrith, one of the ancient clans from Sector 6. That mark... That's not just a name, it's a claim." "A claim?" Eric leaned in. "It means the girl is part of a blood contract. Someone owns her or did. She can't just run away. Anyone who touches her, helps her, even hides her, could be seen as stealing property." Yalen felt a cold chill. What would happen to someone who, say, saved her life? Eric hesitated. "Let me be clear. If she's from House Velrith, saving her life doesn't make you a hero. It makes you the new owner by their law. And if you don't accept the claim, they'll come for both of you." The screen went dark. Jalen turned and looked at Alira, who was now curled up on the couch, trying to sleep. He whispered to himself, "What the hell did I just bring into my home?" He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Alira woke up to the sound of buzzing. She peeked through the curtains and froze. Small silver drones were flying just outside the building. Scanning, searching. She panicked. Her heart raced. Jalen came out of the kitchen with a sandwich, but when he saw her face, he knew something was wrong. "What is it?" he asked, Alira pointed at the window with shaking fingers. They find me. Yalan looked outside. The drones were government issued. Not good. Alira stood up suddenly. I go, you not get hurt. She started toward the door, but Yalan stepped in front of her. No. She looked up, surprised. You're staying right here, he said. I didn't bring you in just to let them take you. Alira's voice cracked. You protect me? Yalan nodded. Yeah, I guess I do. She stared at him in silence. For the first time, her eyes softened. Her lips almost formed a smile, but deep inside, fear still lived. Because in her world, kindness always came with a price. The knock on the door was too soft to be friendly, but too firm to ignore. JLE and froze mid-step. Alira's body tensed where she sat on the floor, wrapping the blanket tightly around herself. Her eyes widened. She shook her head quickly, silently, mouthing, no, not now, not ready. Another knock. Louder this time, Yalan whispered, go, hide. Alira didn't ask where. She just moved, light as air, disappearing behind the couch and into the narrow air vent tunnel. Yalan had once used to smuggle machine parts. He took a deep breath, straightened his shoulders, and opened the door. Outside stood a tall figure dressed in a deep gray cloak. The stranger's face was hidden by a breathing mask and reflective visor. A badge glimmered briefly under the rain. Citizen Yalan. The voice was filtered and cold. We're investigating sightings of a fugitive female alien in this block. You may be in possession of stolen genetic property. Genetic what? Yalan asked, pretending confusion. No aliens here. Just me and a lot of broken furniture. The stranger tilted their head slightly. Your unit had heat signatures above standard levels last night. Strange for a man who usually sleeps cold. Yalan forced a smile. I made soup. There was silence. Then the figure took a step forward. Yalan blocked the door slightly, pretending to lean lazily on the frame. Mind if we scan the place? I do, actually, Yalan said. No permit. No scan. That's the law, isn't it? The figure didn't respond for a moment. Then, quietly, they stepped back into the rain. We'll return. The door shut. Yalan locked it fast, then rushed to the vent. He tapped twice on the metal panel. Alira slid out slowly, pale and shaking. They were looking for you, he said. Who are you really, Alira? She sat on the floor, head down. Then, after a pause, she whispered, You not safe with me. I already figured that out, Yalan replied, sitting down across from her. But I'm still here. So, tell me, why are they calling you genetic property? Alira raised her eyes. The soft purple glow of her irises flickered. I was made, she said. Grown, for leader's bond, for war-breeding line. I not belong to myself, Yalan blinked. You were bred to be someone's mate? She nodded. Warlord choose. I escaped before bond. Now they say I'm dirty, useless. But if saved, law says I must be given to the one who saves. Yalan leaned back. You're saying, because I saved your life, you belong to me? Her voice dropped to a whisper. Yes, that is their law. If you not accept, they take me. Or kill me. He didn't know what to say. 1,000 thoughts raced in his head. He didn't save her for reward. He didn't want ownership. But if rejecting her meant she'd be taken or worse, what choice did he have? Alira looked at him, her lips trembling. You good, but you not know what I bring. Danger, pain. Yalan stood and ran a hand through his hair. I don't care what they call you, Alira. You're not property. Not to me. Her eyes filled with moisture. Then why still protect me? He looked at her for a long second. Because no one else did. That night, Yalan sent another encrypted message. To Eric, Yalan, they came to my door. You were right. She's part of something bigger. Eric, you need to get her out of there. If they sent a collector, it means the warlord is making a move. She's a rare asset. She wasn't just made to be a wife. She was designed to carry future. Leaders, her bloodline was engineered for command. Yalin, she said something like that. Said they'd kill her now. Eric, they will. If she's unbonded and free, she's a loose end. You're in danger just standing near her. Jalen, then help me. How do I keep her alive? Eric, there's only one way. You claim her officially, bond by rescue law. But if you do, there's no going back. You'll be her protector, maybe for life. Yalin stared at the screen for a long time. Later, he looked over at Alira, who was curled under the blanket, fast asleep, but clutching a small metal spoon like a weapon, even in rest. She wasn't free. He sat beside her quietly. Outside, 2 drones flew past the window, their red eyes scanning the dark. Inside, the room felt too small for the storm that was coming. Yalin didn't believe in fate, but now, he wasn't so sure. Silence in the room was not peaceful, it was heavy, like something waiting to break. Jalen sat at the edge of his bed, holding the small, old photo of his sister. She had vanished 5 years ago, taken by someone. Maybe trafficked, maybe worse. He had searched every system, every black market, but found nothing. And now, another girl, this alien girl, was asleep in his home, hunted by monsters not so different from the ones who had taken his sister. He looked toward the couch. Alira was breathing quietly, arms wrapped around herself. Even in sleep, her forehead stayed tense, like she was still afraid. Jalen whispered to the dark, "No one saved my sister. But maybe I can save her." The next morning, Alira was already awake before Yalin. She sat near the small window, watching the sky. Her silver hair was dry now, falling softly around her face. She didn't speak until he brought her food. "You not send me away?" she asked. He shook his head. "No, I won't." Her lips moved slowly, as if struggling to believe it. "They say I must be taken by Savior, must be pure, must bond, or I will be erased." "Erased?" Yalin said. Confused, she looked at him. "If no bond, I'm dangerous, wild. They fear me. They kill what they fear." Yalin sat across from her. "But why? What makes you so dangerous?" She hesitated. Then she stood and turned her back to him. Pulling the fabric away from her shoulder, she revealed the glowing blue marks again, only now. They were brighter, alive, moving slightly under her skin. Yalin leaned forward, stunned. "That's not just ink. That's tech?" Alira nodded. "It's not tattoo, it's encoded memory. My body was made to remember orders, battles, bloodlines, power." She turned back to face him. "I was designed to carry children of leaders, but I escaped before ritual. They say I'm broken now. I am rejected." Jalen's hands curled into fists. "That's not broken. That's freedom." Alira's eyes met his. "You saved me. Now law says I must be yours." He looked away. "I didn't save you for that." She smiled softly. "I know, that is why I want to stay." A small pause filled the air between them. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't strange. It was quiet and honest. 2 people from different worlds, both running from something bigger than themselves. Suddenly, a loud knock hit the door. Jalen jumped to his feet, grabbing the tool he kept by his bed. "Hide, now," he whispered. Alira crawled silently into the floor vent again. Like a shadow. Jalen opened the door slowly, this time. It wasn't a soldier or drone. It was Eric. The old man looked nervous. Glancing over his shoulder, "You've got 5 minutes." "No more." Yalin stepped aside. "You came here? Are you insane?" "I didn't have a choice. The collector who visited you isn't just any bounty hunter. She works directly for the warlord Velkreth, the same one who ordered the breeding of the girl." Yalin lowered his voice. What does that mean for me? It means you're either about to be wiped or bonded. Elira peeked out from the vent, crawling forward. Bonded? Eric looked at her, then back at Yalin. She's genetically coded to release certain abilities only after the bond is complete. Protection, command, even memory access. Without it, her body slowly shuts down. Yalin frowned. She said they'll kill her if I don't take her. They will. If you don't accept her officially, the law sees her as rogue technology, abandoned, and you're just the fool hiding a weapon. Elira stepped out fully now. She looked straight at Eric. I don't want to be property, she said. But I also don't want to die. Yalin stared at her. Then at Eric. His heart felt heavy. This wasn't a decision about love. It was about survival. About protection. If I accept her, Yalin asked, what happens next? Eric replied, you both become targets. But she becomes stronger. She remember who she really is. And you'll be bound by alien law. You can't leave her. You can't betray her. But she be yours. Yalin looked at Elira. Again, she stood calmly now, shoulders back, eyes firm. She was no longer the cold, trembling girl from the alley. She had fire in her now. He nodded. Then let's do it. Elira stepped closer. She whispered, are you sure, Yalin? I'm already in it, he said. Might as well finish it right. Eric handed him a small device with a glowing red crystal inside. This will begin the ritual. When you both touch it, it's done. They both reached out. The moment their fingers touched the crystal, a wave of blue light flashed across the room. Symbols appeared on their skin matching each other. Elira gasped as memories flooded into her battlefields. Voices old pain, and new strength that Jalen felt nothing at first. Then a deep warmth entered his chest. Like her presence had settled inside him, that it was done. She looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly. You claimed me, she whispered. No, Yalin said gently. We claimed each other. But outside, across the city, in a large silver tower, someone else felt the change. The warlord opened his eyes. She's bonded, he growled, with a human. He stood up, armor clanking. Kill the male. Bring her back. The night sky turned red above HFY Prime. It wasn't fire. It was a warning. High above the city, a warlord-class cruiser broke through the atmosphere, casting a giant shadow across the towers below. Civilians looked up and scattered. Everyone knew what that kind of ship meant. A hunt had begun. Yalin didn't look out the window. He was too busy packing. We have to leave, he said, stuffing food, tools, and credits into a worn-out bag. Now, they'll track your bond signature. Elira stood calmly, watching him. She didn't move. She didn't speak. You heard me, right? Yalin asked. They're coming for you and for me. I know, she said softly. Then, why are you just standing there? She stepped forward and placed a hand on his chest. Because I'm not afraid anymore. Yalin stopped moving. His breath caught. Elira continued. You gave me a new name, a new bond. That power is inside me now. He looked into her eyes. They were brighter than before, glowing softly with energy. The ritual had changed something. Inside her woken something old. I don't want to lose you, Yalin said quietly. You won't, she answered. Not unless you run without me, he laughed once. Not possible. They moved quickly through the old sewer routes under the city, guided by Eric's map. Every few minutes, distant thumps echoed above them, heavy boots. Drones flying. Sirens screaming in alien tongues. They reached an old tunnel gate, marked with rust and strange writing. This is it, Yalin said. Neutral zone is beyond this. He typed in the code Eric had given them, and the metal gate creaked open. Suddenly, a flash of movement behind them. A sharp sound sliced through the air. Jalen turned, pulling Elira down as a silver blade flew past his head and struck the wall. 3 masked figures stood at the tunnel. Entrance-collectors. One of them stepped forward. Hand over the girl. You've had your fun, human. Alira stood, slowly. I belong to no one, she said. Her voice steady. The lead collector pulled back his hood. His face was marked with deep scars, and one eye glowed red. She was born for the bloodline. You think you changed her with a simple bond? The warlord will rip that out of her. Yalin stepped forward. Not if I stop you first. The collector laughed. You? You're just a weak flesh-born. Alira stepped between them. No, she said firmly. He's my shield. Her hands glowed. Her tattoos lit up across her. Skin like burning rivers. Energy burst from her body and struck the tunnel walls, blasting 2 of the attackers backward. The third lunged at Yalin with a short blade. Yalin caught the wrist mid-swing, twisted hard, and drove his knee into the alien's chest. The attacker dropped, breathing hard. Yalin looked over at Alira, who stood surrounded by light. Since when can you do that? He asked, half in shock. Alira looked surprised too. I don't know, it just came. Yalin grabbed her hand. Don't stop. Whatever it is, we need it. They rushed through the gate, sealing it behind them, but Alira stumbled. Jalen caught her. Her skin was cold, her breath shaky. What's wrong? I used too much, she whispered. The power is not stable. He pulled her into his arms. I'll get you help. Just stay with me. Beyond the gate, the landscape changed. Tall towers gave way to broken shacks, neon signs, and thick air full of smoke and noise. They had entered the neutral zone, a place where no laws ruled. Only survival. Jalen found an old shelter run by a cyberdoc. The place was dirty, but the doc didn't ask questions. Alira lay on a metal bed, breathing shallow. The doc scanned her. Alien tech, advanced. You're lucky she's still alive. Can you help her? She needs stability, the doc said. The bond started her transformation, but it wasn't completed. Without full acceptance, her body is fighting itself. What do I do? You have to finish it. Not just the ritual, the promise. You accepted her as a protector. Now you have to believe it, with your heart. Yalin sat beside Alira and took her hand. He leaned close and whispered, I didn't save you to let you die. I don't care who you were made for. You're mine now, and I'm yours. Her eyes opened slowly, and this time they shone like stars. The energy returned, not wild, not broken, but whole. The doc stepped back. Well, I'll be damned, it worked. Yalin smiled and touched her cheek. Let's get out of here. But outside the shelter, deep in the shadows, a single glowing eye watched through a scope. A voice whispered through a cum. Target located. Human protector confirmed. Orders? A reply came back cold and fast. Terminate the male. Recover the female. Alive. The shot was silent but deadly. Jalen felt it before he saw it. A sharp sting like hot ice sliced across his shoulder just as he pulled Alira through the shelter's back exit. He stumbled, hit the wall, and grabbed the wound. His fingers came away slick with blood. Alira turned fast. You're hit. I noticed, he groaned, trying to stay upright. Sniper. Long range, probably from the tower. She looked back, her glowing eyes narrowing. They're not letting us go. They never were, Yalin said. But we're not stopping either. They moved quickly through the dark alley behind the shelter. The city around them was louder now, sirens, shouts, the hum of drones overhead. The warlord's ship had triggered citywide fear. And fear made people dangerous. Alira helped Yalin walk. She wasn't fully healed herself, but she refused to let him fall. Just up there, Yalin said, pointing. That tower. My friend has a transport. If we get there, we fly. A second shot hit the wall just inches from their heads. Alira pushed him into a side tunnel, Heart-pounding. Jalen winced. We need a new route. I can't outrun a plasma sniper with a hole in my shoulder. She leaned him gently against the wall, then stepped out of sight and closed her eyes. The glowing marks on her body flickered again. She pressed her hand to the ground and the floor beneath them as UMMED. Jalen watched, confused. What are you doing? Calling an old path, she whispered. Suddenly, the wall beside them clicked and a hidden door slid open, revealing a narrow stairwell that led downward. What is that? An old escape route, made for my kind before I ran. She pulled him through the opening and sealed the door behind them. The air inside the tunnel was warm and dry. Faint lights blinked overhead. Ancient alien symbols glowed along the walls. Yalen looked around. You knew this was here? Not until I bonded, she said. Now I remember things. Things they put inside me. Yalen leaned on her. Then, I hope one of those things knows how to fly a ship. They reached the bottom of the stairwell. A wide underground chamber opened before them, a forgotten hangar. Dust covered the floor. An old ship sat in the center, rusted, small, but possibly. FLYABLE. Jalen stepped forward, dizzy. I can fix her. You're bleeding too much, Alira said. He shook his head. I'll survive. He climbed inside and started flipping switches. The power core flickered, then gave a low hum. She's still alive, he muttered, surprised. Just needs a jump. Alira climbed in beside him. She placed her hand on the control panel. Her marks lit up again, and the ship responded, powering up completely. Yalen blinked. How did you do that? I don't know, she said softly. But I think this ship was made for someone like me. The engines roared to life. The platform above them cracked open slowly, revealing the night sky. Alira moved to the pilot's seat. You fly? Yalen nodded. I fly, I survive. They took off into the air just as the chamber behind them exploded. Someone had tracked them. As they climbed higher, Alira looked down. They're not giving up. Let them chase us, Yalen said. We've got a head start. But he didn't see the fast-moving craft that launched from the warlord's cruiser. Sleek, dark, and built for one purpose — interception. It caught up within minutes. Warning lights flashed. Target lock. Alira's fingers gripped the controls tightly. It's faster. Then we have to be smarter, Yalen said. He rerouted power to shields, then flipped the ship in a sharp turn. The enemy-fired missiles burst behind them, barely missing. Alira growled under her breath. I'll stop it. She stood suddenly, walked to the center of the ship and knelt down. What are you doing? Yalen shouted. I remember something. A defense system inside the ship, hidden, but only I can use it. She pressed both hands to the floor, letting her energy flow through the ship's systems. Lights turned red. The back of the ship opened, revealing a glowing sphere that floated behind them like a second engine. The enemy ship fired again, but the sphere caught the shot mid-air and returned it 10 times stronger. The enemy ship exploded in silence. Yalen stared. Okay. Remind me never to argue with you. She sat down weakly. It drained me. He helped her back to her seat. Then, rest. We're almost out of orbit. A message pinned across the ship's console. Eric's voice. I see you made it. I've cleared you a path to the outer ring. But you'll need to disappear. Velkrith won't forget this. Yalen responded. We're not running forever, just long enough. He looked at Alira, her head resting on his shoulder, her breathing calm. Next time, he whispered, we fight back. And far behind them, in the city ruins, the warlord stood before a broken screen. She chose the human, he said. Then the human will suffer. He turned to his soldiers. Begin the purge. The stars stretched like silver rivers across the black of space. Jalen sat in silence inside the small ship's control room. watching the navigation screen as they floated near the edge of the outer ring. The engines were off. Power was low. But they had made it this far. Alive, Alira slept quietly in the sleeping pod behind him, her breathing calm and steady. The healing process had worked. Her body was stronger now. Her memories clearer. But her heart, it still carried scars. Jalen leaned back, rubbing his tired eyes. He had been flying for days, dodging patrols, changing IDs, staying invisible. Every time they passed near a satellite, he held his breath. He hadn't told Alira, but he knew the warlord's trackers were still out there, and they were closing in. A soft voice behind him said, "You haven't slept." He turned. Alira stood there in one of his oversized shirts, barefoot, her silver hair falling over one shoulder. "Didn't mean to wake you," he said. "You didn't," she replied. "I felt your worry." He nodded. "They're still chasing us." Alira walked to him slowly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Then maybe it's time we stop running," Yalan frowned. "What do you mean?" Her glowing eyes met his. "I remember everything now. Who I was, what I was made for, but also what I can do." She stepped to the center of the ship and touched the floor panel again. The lights dimmed. The ship responded to her touch. "There's a way to end this," she said. "Not just escape, but justice." Yalan stood. "You're still recovering. I'm done recovering," she said firmly. "It's time I become what they fear." She pulled up a holographic map. A hidden command node deep in the warlords. Private archive was shown, a neural beacon. It sent signals to all bonded units, controlling them, calling them home if they went rogue. "If we destroy that," Alira explained, "the system breaks. Others like me, they'll be free." Yalan looked at her, stunned. "There are more," she nodded. "Hundreds, scattered, hiding, some still trapped. But if we break the control point, it ends." He hesitated. "They'll be waiting for us." She smiled softly. "I'm not afraid anymore. Not with you." Yalan took her hand. "Then let's finish it." They refueled quietly at a forgotten mining outpost, then jumped across systems using stolen codes. Every moment was dangerous, but every step felt right. At last, they arrived. The warlord's command satellite floated above a quiet moon, hidden by magnetic clouds. The ship's sensors couldn't fully scan it. Old alien defenses still hummed in the darkness. Jalen steered carefully. "We go in quiet." "No," Alira said. "We go in strong." She activated her marks again. This time, her energy flowed calmly, controlled. She wasn't a weapon anymore. She was a voice, a force, a will. They landed silently on the outer deck of the station. Inside it was dim and cold, long halls, empty labs. Cracked glass tubes lined the walls, each one once filled with someone like her. Yalan gritted his teeth. "This is where they made you." "Yes," she said. "And this is where I'll end them." At the core of the station stood a glowing spire, the neural beacon. Lines of alien script pulsed along its surface. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed, "You came back." The warlord stepped into view, draped in black armor, his eyes glowing with rage. "You could have lived quietly, hidden. Instead, you brought a human into our world." Alira stepped forward. "He didn't steal me, he saved me. Something you never understood." The warlord raised his hand and guards moved in from the sides. Weapons aimed. Jalen stepped in front of Alira, shield raised. "You want her? You'll have to go through me." Alira placed her hand on his back. "No, this is my fight." Her body glowed brighter than ever. The air shifted. The lights cracked. The beacon behind them pulsed wildly. "I was made by your will," she said to the warlord, "but I live by my choice." She sent a wave of light through the room. The guards collapsed. Stunned. The warlord lunged, but Alira caught him mid-air without touching him. Her energy held him still. Floating. You used us like tools, she said. But we remember pain. We remember everything. She looked at Yalin. Destroy it. He raised his weapon and fired. The beacon exploded. A massive surge of energy spread out across space, like a pulse. A signal breaking every bond that had ever been forced. Somewhere across the galaxy, others like Alira opened their eyes and smiled. Back on the ship, as they flew away from the burning station, Alira sat beside Jalin. "It's over," she whispered. He looked at her. "No, it's just beginning." She tilted her head. "Beginning? Our life. Free. Together." She smiled softly, her fingers wrapping around his. "Then take me home, Yalin." He looked at the stars, brighter now than ever before. "I already did." The end.